Mother-in-law wants me to name my firstborn after her. Am I overreacting? What in the heck? So I'm pregnant with my first child, and dear husband and I went to visit mother-in-law and father-in-law. I have an overall pretty good relationship with them, but Mill definitely has some just no behavior. And this subreddit is called Just No Mill. Okay? So, the typical guilt-tripping, manipulating, self-centered gossiping type, but other than that, I've been able to get along with her pretty well overall. Sounds like a treat. And I don't know if it's the hormones or what, but she has really been pissing me off lately, and I'm getting a bit tired of her BS. She has turned into a bit of a wacko since I became pregnant. That's the nicest way I can put it. Mother-in-law has made my pregnancy all about her, being a first-time grandparent. I mean, great, I'm happy for you, lady, sure, but this is also me and my husband's first child. Come on. She hasn't congratulated us once. The first thing she said when we told her was, "Oh my God, it's finally my turn. First grandbaby. I'm the last one out of all my friends and family to have a grandchild." Sounds like it's all about her indeed. Me and husband are literally also the last ones out of our friend groups to have kids, but I digress. We were both pretty annoyed with how much she made our special moment about her, but I think it bothers me more than him that she continues to make everything about her. Just those people, self-centered, everything's about them. I'm not sure if she realizes that I'm the one who's pregnant, not her. Anywho, we were having a visit with mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law, and the in-laws' house, and mother-in-law and I were chatting, just the two of us, and she asked me if I had any names picked out. I said we had a couple we were thinking about, and then she asked me to name my child after her. The audacity. We don't even know if it's a boy or girl yet. I busted out laughing because I thought she was joking. Mainly because I didn't think she was self-centered enough to actually think I'd name my child after her. But also, to be honest, she has a very old school name. Probably like Eleanor or, I don't know, Gladys, I'm guessing. That I personally do not want to name my child. I don't think anyone under the age of 60 has her name, if that makes sense. It's got to be Gladys or Eleanor. I'm pretty confident. She seemed to be pretty taken aback, and I could tell her feelings were hurt. And then she goes, "I'm serious." And I said, "Oh, sorry. Husband and I won't be naming our child after any parents because we don't want anyone to feel left out." Pretty politically correct way to say it. And then she asked if I would name our child after husband if it was a boy, and I said no. Husband was named after father-in-law, so same rules apply. Also, I love my husband, but I don't love the name, and it was never a name I would have picked for my child. What could that name be? We both want a name we chose together, so luckily we are on the same page. She seemed almost offended that we didn't want to name our child after mother-in-law or father-in-law. She then proceeds to try to convince me to name our child after her and tells me that she almost named sister-in-law after herself but decided upon a different name but was hoping I would reconsider. No, ma'am, I will not. I'm just baffled. Maybe it's not a big deal, but on top of her making everything about her in my pregnancy so far, it really rubbed me the wrong way. What do you think? Drop a comment. What do you think about this? Is it like pretty audacious for the mother-in-law to almost expect them to name the child after her? That's pretty wild, pretty crazy. All right, let's see some of the comments. That does sound odd. I suppose to her, it would be a legacy, but it's your choice, not hers. No, full stop. No explanations needed. I like this person. Oh, wow. This is some high level of crazy you're dealing with. If you want to name a child, you're going to have to pop a new one out, would be my answer to the mother-in-law. My just no mom was so pissed that none of the grandkids were named after her. 2 boys, one had dad's middle name as their middle name, etc. as the middle name. One girl had her maternal grandma's name. She wouldn't stop going on about it. I do so much for your kids, I guess. What a Fruit Loop. When I had another, I like that Fruit Loop. When I had another child later in life, I gave her surname as middle name to shut her up. What got me is my sister had a variation of her first name. I have nothing but sympathy for you. You aren't overreacting. You might want to keep reinforcing that she is just one of many people in your baby's life. For example, if she demands to be there when you give birth, try something like, "We don't consider this to be an extended family event. Just like you and father in law won't be there, neither will my parents, our siblings, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, or friends. It would only be our baby's parents. No one else is needed for matters as much." Interesting. So I really think it's pretty audacious of her, and the mom totally has the right to say no. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and play my Just Say No card. This is from Monopoly Deal, if you know that game. It's a lot of fun. So there's this card that pretty much overrules anything with a just say no, just like the name of this subreddit, Just Say No. So there it is. Just say no. Yeah, go ahead and show that to your mother in law. Drop a comment below. I'm curious what you think about this.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to name my son after my late brother? Interesting. Throwaway account because this has caused a lot of drama in my family and I don't want them finding this. I, 28 female, am pregnant with my first child, a boy, due in a few months. My husband, 29 male, and I have been discussing names for a while and finally agreed on one we both love. However, my mom recently suggested we name the baby after my late brother Ethan. So the mom wants the baby to be named after the brother Ethan, who passed away when I was 16. Ethan was 20 when he died in a car accident, and while it was tragic, he and I were not close. In fact, he bullied me a lot growing up, calling me names, mocking my interests, and even getting physical a few times. My parents always brushed it off as siblings being siblings, but it left me with a lot of resentment. And now the mom wants her to name her kid after the late brother. When my mom suggested we name the baby Ethan, I politely said no. She got upset and said it would be a beautiful way to honor my brother's memory. When I explained how I felt about Ethan and our relationship, she told me I was being cold-hearted and disrespecting the dead. Other family members have chimed in saying I'm being selfish, that I need to think about what this would mean to my mom, not just myself. Come on, really? It's not about her mom. My husband is completely supportive of my decision, good for you, and says it's our baby. So the name should reflect what we want, not what others want. But now I'm starting to wonder if I'm being unfair to my mom, who is clearly still grieving, probably over a decade later. Am I the a-hole for refusing to name my son after my late brother? No, you should not. You're not the a-hole, and you should not name your son after your late brother. You're entitled to name your son whatever you want. Definitely NTA. I agree. Not the a-hole, and tell your mother that maybe you would have better memories of your brother if she did anything when you told her he was bullying you. The audacity, right? Oh my God. Parents sometimes families can be a little much, right? It's the mother's grief. Her child passed, which is traumatic for sure, but the sister obviously doesn't care the same trauma and the same memories and fondness, and she doesn't want anything to do with his legacy, so why force her? NTA, your child is not a replacement or stand-in for the son they lost.